Hello everyone, welcome to another unboxing. It's me, Alan, here with the final one of the day, so hopefully I'm not sounding too tired to you. Today I'm doing a lot of unboxings, but right now I'm doing the Type 97 Chi-Ha Platoon, the crowning jewel of my Japanese tank forces. These include both the Shin-Hoto turrets, and the regular turrets. For the Chi-Has, the Shin-Hoto was an upgraded turret meant to combat tanks such as the BT-5 and the BT-7. It is also, this is really pathetic, but it is also the most advanced anti-tank tank that you can field, and it has AT-8 in game terms. So, Japanese tanks are not meant to take out enemy tanks. It's not what they're here for. You have got suicide bombers for that. So why would you bother using tanks? Your men's lives are worth far less than your tanks. So the Chi-Ha was actually the mainstay of the Japanese forces by 1945. The only problem was, and a lot of people don't realize this, but the forces we faced in the Pacific, we being the United States, the Great Britain, the Anzac forces, were not the main Japanese forces. They were naval troops and conscripts and less known armies. But the main tank units and the main army units were the Kuomintang army in Manchuria and China, and they had Type 97 Chi-Has to the brim. In fact, a late report indicated that a lot of their tanks had been upgraded to the Shin-Hoto. Of course, when T-34s, 85s, and IS-2s were knocking down their door, those Shin-Hoto turrets didn't do them much good, but that's a story for another time. So inside the box you get the dreaded box of boxiness, and inside that you get the different turrets, and apparently one hull on top for some reason. This is the Shin-Hoto turret. You can note by the larger mound on the back, and this is the non-upgraded turret. Now this isn't reflected in game, but the Japanese had a system where you would have your tank company, which would be part of your tank regiment. They didn't have battalions in their tank forces, so you'd have directly from company to regiment. You'd have your tank regiment and you'd have your tank companies, and five of them, or one of your companies, you'd have three companies. Well, okay, for the purposes of our story, you have three companies of Chi-Has. Two of them would have been the upgraded turret, meaning all their tanks would have upgrades, and then one of them would be a non-upgraded one. You might ask yourself, why did they not have the upgraded one on that platoon? Well, it's because the non-upgraded one is actually much better against digging out infantry. This isn't reflected in game or anything, but I thought that was a fun little aside. I also really like the look of these guys. They're cool they're really low to the ground for such a big tank. These are they're decently sized. They're like a Sherman. And here you have the rest of the hulls, I'm assuming. Yes, you do. They're all identical. They've all got really nice detail. I do love these Japanese sculpts. I like Japanese tank design. They made really cool stuff. I'm also a little bit of a weeb, so that's fun. You got your tracks for them. As with the rest of the Japanese tanks, they got part of the hull molded on so that you can't screw it up. And they've also got little slots. That way you can't put your turret on backward, or your tracks on backwards. The Chi-Ha is also notable for being one of the few Japanese tanks with a hull MG. Yeah, they still couldn't figure out coaxial MGs. Oh, and look at this. This is so cool. So, this was a radio antenna. That's not the right turret. There it is. So this must be how this goes on. That's really cool. I'm going to probably bend that into place after this video, but I really love the look of these radio antennas. So, unlike other Japanese units, Chi-Has would normally be issued radios, which was a really big thing for the Japanese. And even the Americans commented on how hardy the Japanese radios were. They were really shitty radios, but they were hardy, unlike American ones. They could only transmit up to 1/3 of a mile, so let that speak to how much you probably want a better radio than that. And that's over open ground. It's kind of like the Japanese are kind of like the French in that way. They didn't have very many radios to go around. So here's all your tracks, and you've got your usual tops for your, these guys, what are they called? Turrets. Turret tops. I'm not sure which one goes on which right now. I'll look it up afterward. Never mind. Here we go. So it looks like they're keyed differently, so you can't put the wrong hatch on the wrong tank. They were also completely different than previous tank hatches that you've seen on the Hago and such. So you can't use those as a basis. They've also got the little mud guards. I should note, these mud guards, if you're building your tanks as a Kuomintang army, make sure to leave these off. Because from what I've been able to read in my research for my army, in the north, they always remove the mud guards because you get moisture in them, and then they freeze up and get on the wheels along with the mud. That would all freeze. It's just like all the problems on the Eastern Front the Soviets and the Germans faced. It's nothing fun. Nothing's fun in war, I guess. But so here you actually have the gun that made the upgraded Chi-Ha famous. Yeah, that's the upgraded gun. Still tiny. 88, as I said in the game. It could. So, in real life, this could penetrate the front of a Sherman at 50 feet. And yes, that was the Japanese strategy. You would rush your tanks forward en masse. Those that could only penetrate from the side would rush to the side. Those that could actually get it from the front would just close to an almost unbelievable distance and fire. Like, this is how close they got. You actually can't simulate Japanese tactics in Flames of War because you have to stay 2 inches away at all times. So, you can't have your Japanese tanks get as close as Japanese tankers would get their tanks. There's one picture I saw, which is just kind of insane, which has a Japanese tank that is literally 3-4 feet from a Sherman that's just knocked it out. Anyway, you get, sorry for my little rambling time. As I mentioned in a previous video, though, you guys seem to like it, so I'll leave it in. You got your favorite sword guy. I do love the fact that Japanese tankers were shoot katanas. You could also probably use these as bunny ears for like 40k if you wanted. Yeah, no, I give you the best ideas. Only the best ideas. I'm trying to find a non-upgraded gun, if you're wondering what the hell I'm doing. That one? Nope. Just trying to show you guys what it looks like. That's all. Oh, it looks like it's on the little sprue. Yeah, so it looks like you got your 2 turret rear MGs and the... Is that the main gun? It must be, because I don't see it elsewhere in this. So that must be the extra main gun. And then you got your turret rear and other turret rear MGs. Anyway, that's been my little rambling about the Type 97 Chi-Ha Sensha Platoon. You can use these in Banzai, in both upgraded and non-upgraded forms. And you can use them in non-upgraded forms in early wars. I believe one of the few things that you can only use in early war for Japan. So that's fun. It's 20 points a tank to upgrade your turret, and I believe it's worth it. I don't know. Depends on what you're facing. Yeah, no, anyway, sorry. Like it if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Leave me a comment. I will respond to every comment on this video. If you ask me a question or something, if you just say Coolioso or something. I'm not going to respond to that, but if you like ask me a question or something, I'd be happy to respond, etc., etc. I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing. I will see you next time.